MP Caroline Flint. Hello to Ms Flint. Thanks so much for joining us on Sky News this afternoon. What on earth is going on here?
Well, it beggars belief, doesn't it, Kay? I mean, what we've got, it seems like, is a bunch of arrogant, entitled, and I have to say, frankly, stupid men organising an event after months and months of discussion about sexual harassment that blew up with the Harvey Weinstein affair, going ahead with this event, but also doing it in the name of good causes. I think I am, and I'm sure a lot of your viewers are, actually sick and tired in the last 24 hours hearing excuses from those who went there, those who were presenting there, about how they didn't know what was going on. And I think there are some serious questions to ask of everybody, not just the organisers, about how much they knew and why they went along with it.
Someone who was at the dinner has messaged me on a condition of anonymity, saying that it's completely over the top. It's not how it was portrayed, and the women were enjoying themselves.
Well, that's really interesting, isn't it? Because if that is the case, why won't these people who've got in contact with UK come out and declare that they were there? And I can only believe that the reason why this has been so secretive, and this has apparently been going on for 30 years, it's advertised and promoted to this secret club as men only. Apparently there was a page in the programme basically saying, have a great night, it's very un-PC, please don't grope anybody. I mean, I do find the excuses being made by those who attended, not only as individuals, but possibly the corporate and other organisations who paid for the tickets, absolutely unforgivable.
So the hostesses, and playing devil's advocate, obviously, the hostesses who go back year after year, apparently, again, this contact is telling me that it's the same girls that they've seen year after year. Why do they go back year after year if this happens?
Well, it's difficult for me to comment on an unknown contact who is telling you this, and not to hear from maybe some of those women themselves. But we do know, because some women have come forward, including those journalists from the Financial Times, who very clearly laid out that the women were told what to wear, even down to their underwear. They were told to have a good drink before it started, presumably to get them in the mood for what was coming later. They were paraded in height order to music and then taken to their tables. And we've clearly heard that in a number of cases, women were asked if they were prostitutes, women were groped, and apparently there was also another rather more private party after the main proceedings in which women were asked if they wanted to go upstairs to a bedroom in the Dorchester. So, look, it seems to me that in this day and age, the idea that we raise money for good causes through this type of fundraising is unacceptable.
What do you think about Great Ormond Street giving more than £500,000 back?
Well, I think, when you raise money for good causes and charities, I think there is a responsibility on those on the receiving end to be very clear about how that money is being provided. Lots of people could give money either through individual donation or through organised events, which actually, when, the light is shone on where that money's been made and how it's been come by, I think there's a question as to whether charities should receive it. I have to say, I do think Great Ormond Street should be asked, given that they have been receiving money, I understand, from this President's Ball for some years now, who in the organisation actually was checking just what was being organised and how. And I do find it hard to believe, and I might be wrong on this, Kay, I do find it hard to believe that since this all-male event has been running for 30 years, that the flavour of what we're hearing about on what went on last night isn't something that's been happening in previous years as well. It's amazing to me that it's taken this long, I have to say, for it to be exposed.
And certainly the journalists from the Financial Times had heard about it previously, which is why they decided to go undercover on this occasion. It's tricky, isn't it, to know, £500,000 is an awful lot of money, and that's a lot of support that could be offered to sick kids. We've heard from Aaron Banks, who bankrolls UKIP, of course, or previously certainly did that. I don't know if he still does. But he was saying, getting on your high horse basically is not appropriate when it comes to sick kids.
Well, the thing is, you've got a chequebook, or you can make a direct debit, you can pay online. There's lots of ways that people with the means to offer a contribution can make that contribution. And actually, you shouldn't have to necessarily go to an event like this to want to make that contribution. So I think it's a bit rich, to be honest, to say the least, to say that somehow all of what happened last night should be excused because it's money going to good causes. Many rich people, you know, could actually just put their hands in their pockets, get their wallets out, get their purses out, get their chequebook out, and just make a fair contribution to these sort of causes without having to attend events like this.
Any sympathy for the likes of Mark Carney, Boris, who say that...
No, people like Mark Carney and others, powerful people in all sectors, whether it's in politics as ministers or whether you're running the Bank of England or anything else, they have a herd of people around them who organise their diary, find out what they're going to, find out what they're being asked to donate to. There's no excuses. These people have teams of people who constantly try to make sure they're getting their public relations right. But at the end of the day, the buck stops with them when they make the decision to take part or make a contribution.
OK, thank you.
Thank you.
Breaking